As we know, next weekend is going to begin Advent. So this is kind of the end of a season as we begin the newness as we enter the Christ season. And for us in Unity, when we talk about the Christ light, we're talking about that inner wisdom, that joy, that kingdom of understanding God within each one of us. And our very first principle being that God is everywhere present, in, around, surrounding, and as us in these magical moments as we are walking our human journey as spiritual beings. And we're so happy that you guys are a part of this with us. We had a fabulous group here yesterday. We were doing our prayer chaplain training, and you know the heart of Unity is prayer. It all began with Myrtle Fillmore, our co-founder, healing her own body and using power-filled words of God. So when we do this sacred work of our prayer chaplains coming together for your highest good, for their highest good, for our highest good, and this time we had 2 other churches joining us, and I look out and I say, we are Unity. And we're all different expressions, however we show up at our different churches and our different communities. And I hope you can still bask a little bit in that energy because we had so much fun. You would think prayers might be serious, but there was this levity because Rob's in the group. So just because we wear multiple hats here, one of them, like I said, is sacred to us, is in our prayer chaplaincy. So I also want to share with you, we are a community of volunteers. Yesterday, Brett, one of our board members, was busy mudding the bathroom, and Jim Aiken, one of our other members, is going to be busy painting it. We did invite him to lunch, and we shared our sandwiches. But I want you to know we are a community of volunteers. So if you see something that needs to be done, whether it's an organizing piece of our ministry or a physicality, come talk to me. Say, Tracy, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm here. I am called. This is my home. And we need your money. But it takes all of it. As members, we say it's our time, our talent, and our treasures. And that's what makes this ministry run. It's not the Reverend Tracey Quillen ministry. It is our ministry. And we create through our dreams, our visions, our volunteering, our finances. I want to recognize, I'm not sure if I see him out here this morning, each one of our fall program groups has taken on a service project for our greater good. And Kimmin, Ellie, Patrick, and Gail were scrubbing down our windows of the sanctuary in and out on Thursday. So it doesn't have to be large, magnificent things. You can do little things that make a great deal of difference. Because, you know, we're getting ready to decorate for the Christmas season. And now you'll be able to see inside and out. It's all good. It's all good. Kevin has practically spent all weekend here since she was leading us in the prayer chaplain program. So it was that and cleaning windows, and now she's going to be your platform assistant today. So I know you guys will welcome her warmly when it's her turn to get up here. Something I want to mention, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I sent out a minister's letter. And since then, I've heard a few people say, well, I didn't get one. Well, there's some copies in the foyer, and if you didn't get one, it means we don't have a record of you fiscally giving to the church. Now, you may give all the dollar bills in the world in the basket, and thank you. But if I don't have a record of it, I don't know that you're giving. So you have little envelopes with a heart on them if you want to put your name on them so we can recognize you. You can write a check. You can go online, you can stop by the bookstore, and I love and thank you for all the $100 bills you're putting in there. But if I don't know they're from you, I can't give you credit. And so that's how we have established our database in which we're sending out all those letters. So don't feel left out. We appreciate your gifts. I just don't know it's you. And the other thing I wanted to say, be ready. We have 2 people stepping off the board. They've served their term. And we're going to create one of those little miniature search committees. So if it's calling to you to be a leader in our community, if you're ready to step up and be a part of that next vision, then we are welcoming you to take it into your heart and see if it speaks to you. If it does, we have board member applications right before you go out the door. So we're inviting you to take that in your heart and see if that speaks to you. So, with all that being said, let's do the good stuff. Let's take this into prayer. I'm inviting you with maybe those eyes closed, heart open. Take a nice, deep breath. Fill up this room with your energy. Fill this room with your love. Recognize each person seated beside you and those later online who will watch us. Just imagine. What does it mean to you when the light is surrounding all of us? Do you picture a beautiful little candle so precisely lit? Or do you see an enormous Christmas Escalade, something of great beauty, lots of color? Or maybe you see something very simple, like the one light in the candle in the doors as you're coming home, knowing that your family is waiting for you for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for Advent. Just imagine this whole room popping with light. That is your light. That is the light that I will proclaim is the Christ light. Your wisdom, your joy, your compassion, that inner spirit soul that is awakened and connected to everyone and everything. And even those ones that give us a little blip on our lights, we open ourselves to expand in our consciousness. We expand our spiritual practices to be inclusive. We hold that light for those who cannot see it for themselves. And we know in this joyous time of Thanksgiving, we are so grateful. We are so grateful, and we are so blessed. Amen.
Young and old, perhaps down in Southwest Florida. So please bring in your furry friends. And also, you can hold them and hug them, but please don't squeak them. Especially not during Reverend Tracey's talk. Well, my team did learn one lesson that's germane to our 7-week class that we were doing, book study class. We were the window washing team, and we had dutifully checked to make sure there was a water source on the side of the building. So we said, oh, good, we're good. And we brought our hose and a power washer. And then we realized that the third agreement had been broken. Now, you make an assumption that when there is a water spigot, that water will come out of it. Not always. You need to ask the question, is this water spigot operational? But we went on anyway, and we had a great time. I just thought I would share that. Well, Stephen Heath, I see him lurking over here. He is the visionary behind our transformation that's taking place out in what we will call the Garden of Eden. And Stephen, would you come up and tell us a little bit about that?
I'm usually standing in the back. This is a much better view. Like all my favorite people are here too, so that's kind of cool, just looking around. I'm going to stay on topic. I got 3 minutes, so I'm going to stay on topic, and I have to start with a tweet that I saw this morning. You guys don't know about Twitter, right? I know you guys are all big tweeters. But I saw it this morning, and it's on topic. Day 3 of arguing in my head with a stranger who was slightly rude to me on Friday. And I think I've got her on the ropes. Okay. I don't know if you ever have conversations in your head. I have many, okay? But if you want some relief, we have a beautiful place in the back here. Most of you are certainly aware of it. If you've not been back there lately, I invite you to go back when it's not raining or with an umbrella, if it is. And I think you'll remind yourself of how awesome it is. The gardens can be a great relief for a lot of things. And they bless all of us. And in the same manner that Tracey just spoke earlier about the community at large, these are not my gardens, although I spend a lot of time back there. They're our gardens. I receive a lot of help from many of you. And one of the reasons I'm here this morning is to invite you to find ways perhaps that you could contribute to helping us maintain the grounds on the backside, but also be involved with the creation of new zones, which are going to be happening in the coming calendar year. It blesses all of us, and it attracts new people to the community when they know that they can come and visit. They don't have to maybe attend a service, but they can come back and see what's going on, and then perhaps later join us. It's one of the reasons I love working out there and why so many people help me. The plan was to meet afterwards, after the service today, out at our newly in progress outdoor chapel. The rain may break that up. We have a sign-up sheet on a table. I had a slogan that I saw at a nursery for recruiting that I thought I would put out there. And it wanted part-time gardeners must look good when bending over. Okay? And Kim said, no, can't do that. Can't do it. So there's just a plain old clipboard. Put your name on it, your email, and your phone number. You can text message me. I'd love to talk to you about it, give you a little tour if you haven't been back there lately, or just find out ways we can work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Well, I don't know how many of you knew Audrey Riot, but she was a long-time member here, and she's been gone for a while now. I don't mean deceased, gone, but she has left, the area, so we haven't seen her in a couple of years. But there is going to be, what I'm sure will be a beautiful service in her memory, and her children have invited all of us here at Unity of Palm Harbor to come on Saturday, November 26th at 11 o'clock to the sanctuary for a service honoring Audra Riot. So that will be just next week. We'll be coming up next Saturday. Well, as I mentioned before with our lovely furry friends, you are invited, and you just have one more week to get in on the fun to bring in a stuffed animal that, as I mentioned, will be sent to Southwest Florida after this coming Sunday, a week from today. Brett Berner, veteran and board member, is inviting you to come and set up that huge Christmas tree that we have. It doesn't just set itself up. No, it's not one of those you can just go, whoop. No. It's very big, and it does require some assistance to get it to look as beautiful as it always does. So setting up and decorating of the Christmas tree will be happening next Sunday after service. So there is a sign-up sheet, and Brett is almost tall enough to reach where the star goes, but even he might need a ladder. So please come and join in the fun. We do have a very full holiday lineup that will be starting next Sunday, November 27th, which is the first Sunday in Advent, and Reverend Tracey is spearheading a wonderful experiential service for that day. So please come and get your seats early. Come and sit up front, and you'll have a good experience, I'm sure. Wednesday, November 30th, which is the fifth Wednesday of the month, Charlie Thweet will be here to be chanting and meditation at 7 o'clock. That's Wednesday at November 30th at 7 o'clock. On Tuesday, December 12th, our new grief counselor and Reverend Tracey will be hosting a remembrance Christmas. And this is inviting you to remember your loved ones who are not with you this Christmas. As I mentioned, Shabnam Hashimi, Reverend Tracey, and Charlie Thweet, who will be in town at that time, invite you to come and share in this sacred time, in this sacred place. A remembrance Christmas. Wednesday, December 21st, is the winter solstice Wednesday, and Joy Katzenguthrie will be sharing songs for the Christmas season starting at 6:30. There will be no meditation that night. Now, this is something that Joy has done before, a couple of years ago, is sharing different songs of different time in the American musical tradition, and she's quite the musical historian. She does a beautiful job of singing and telling the stories behind the songs that she's presenting. You really don't want to miss that. It will be very special, and that will be Wednesday, December 21st. Go to our website for our weekly classes and a full holiday schedule, including Christmas Eve and Christmas Day services.
The title of today's daily word is weave. And Tracey's talked about us weaving, and the song talked about weaving. But you can also do other kinds of weaving that make things really special during this holiday time. Grab some construction paper and weave a placemat to give to somebody where you're going for dinner. You'll have your own creative weaving to share. Or you might weave a scarf, as a 14-year-old in Cusco, Peru made for me years ago. There's lots of ways that you can weave together. But the weaving that really, really affects us is the sharing of our love. So let's go within with this idea of weaving and take these words for yourself. Take a breath. I weave meaning into my life's story. I weave meaning into my life story. I am creating my life's story, gathering many experiences, my treasured memories and happy, joy-filled times, as well as those challenges and defeats. By weaving the events of my life into a single narrative and finding the meaning within each. I have the freedom to weave new experiences and new characters into my life. And each one of us is one of those characters that are weaving into the life of this ministry. And we know that weaving these characters into life stories helps us grow. So as the story progresses, I may change how I think about myself. I may choose a different direction. I may choose different friends. I may accept and fill my life with love. No matter how my story unfolds, I am creating meaning from what is happening in my life every day. I take the elements of my past and my present and weave a pattern that leads me into a brilliant future, a future of love and possibility, a future of gratitude and joy. And from Jeremiah, these wonderful words, I will put my law within them, and I will write it on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And so it is.
We are awakening to the calling of the mystics, awakening in the flowering of the heart. Everybody here, melting into presence, overflowing effervescence, rising in love. We are awakening to a long forgotten memory. Dawn is breaking, waves are coming in. Everybody here, standing in wonder, beneath the rain and the thunder, rising in love. Om Shanti Satchitananda. awakening in the oneness of it all. Everybody here, part of each other, sister and brother, rising in love. Satchitananda. Help us out. Om Shanti. Om. Om Shanti. Satchitananda. Om Shanti. Om. We are awakening. Satchitananda, Om Shanti, Om. We are awakening, Om Shanti, Satchitananda, Om Shanti, Om.
In that sweet energy, that Om energy. And I invite you to close those outer eyes. Take a nice deep breath in and release. Allow that chair to fully support your body. Feel your feet connected to the floor. Let's take another deep breath in and release. And one more, a deep breath in and release. Imagine a time, maybe when you were a child, that you played these wonderful childhood games and you held hands in a big circle. Maybe it was Ring Around the Rosie, and you laughed when everybody fell down. It was done in joy and great fun and a lot of silliness. You stretched out those arms and you held those hands again, and now you're two lines. Red Rover, Red Rover. Send Kimmin right over. And feel the laughter and the expectancy as you were playing this childhood game, full of life, vitality, holding the highest good with no title to the name of the highest good. We were merely playing and laughing, joyfully, a part of each other, wanting the very best for each other, maybe wanting our team even to win, but no one wins unless we all win. Staying in that rich, wonderful spirit, I'm going to share a few words with you. Have I told you lately how wonderful you are? How the sound of your feet running from afar brings dancing rhythms to my day. How you laugh and sunshine spills into the room. You make me so happy. We know of a woman named Helen Keller who fought her way through long, silent darkness. And though she could not see or hear, she taught us to look and to listen to each other. Never waiting for life to get easier, she gave others the courage to face their challenges. We open ourselves that we might support one another in all the challenges that we feel are in our vast array of life experiences. We watched as Neil Armstrong was the first to walk on the moon. He watched the world from way up high, and we watched his lunar landing leaps, one for mankind. which made us brave enough to take our own big, bold strides. And we hold these big, bold strides for one another. That we see that light. We know our own magnificence. And we look at the beauty of the art of a woman named Georgia O'Keeffe, who moved to the desert and painted petals, bone, and bark. She helped us see big beauty in what is small, the hardness of stone and the softness of feather. And we hold in our mind's eye that beautiful place of imagination that we see for one another. Whatever your heart's desire is, we support you. We behold the magnificence of who you already are, the gifts that you bring to this community, the gifts you bring in your own relationships. And if ever your light appears to be dim, we will hold that star for you to see the reflection of who you really are. So let's enter a few moments of silence for maybe that divine message, that insight that awaits you. And as you gently bring your consciousness back into this room, we know that whatever message is true for you, if you did not hear it right now, it is available. Maybe your dream time, maybe your meditation time, maybe simply when you're a little out of focus in the worldly world. You'll hear it, you'll feel it, and you will know it's yours. And with this beautiful blessing, we offer our own thanksgiving to the universal flow that every single need is already met in the mind of God. And our only job is to tap into it. And for this, we are blessed. Amen.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Reverend Tracey. We've got a song that Terrell wrote about a year or so ago and forgot about. And I heard it and I thought, I like this song, Terrell. So we're going to do it, and it's called Extending Our Love.
This is a mandolin, by the way. People wonder what it is. It's not a ukulele. It's not a tiny guitar. It's actually an 8-stringed instrument. Well, people do nice things for a lot of good reasons, especially around the holiday season. But if we get more of what we give, let's be more kind, let's live and let live. Extend our love, extend our hand, let's help each other any way we can. Living our best life, loving one another, treat everyone like a sister and a brother. We have so much, let's show we care. We'll get more of what we share. I find being around those who uplift is its own reward, is its own gift. Love is what we're all about. What we feel within, we'll see without. Extend our love, extend our hands, let's help each other any way we can. Living our best life, loving one another, treat everyone like a sister and a brother. We have so much that show we care. We'll get more of what we share. Extend our love, extend our hand. Let's help each other any way we can. Living our best life, loving one another. Treat everyone like a sister and a brother. We have so much, let's show we care. We'll get more of what we share. If you want a friend, be a friend. Be what we're looking for. That's where we begin. It seems so easy, and it's true. What I want for me, I should do for you. Extend our love, extend our hand. Let's help each other any way we can. Living our best life, loving one another. Treat everyone like a sister and a brother. We have so much, let's show we care. We'll get more of what we share.
Thank you.
Can you tell our theme is weave? We'll get more of what we share. Absolutely. What is said to us? Be the world you want to see. Be the person that you want others to be. For they emulate and watch us, observe us, and we come out as these bold, powerful people. Really? There's a beautiful story in an indigenous tribe that before a child is born, a mother goes and sits in the natural elements, and she listens to the heart of the universe. And she brings that song in. And as she becomes pregnant and carries that beautiful soul in her womb, she sings that song, the baby song, every day, every day. And when that child is born, she sings again. And that child becomes an infant, a toddler, a teenager, an adult. And when this child loses its way, the tribe gathers around it and sings this song. We each carry our own song, our song tapped in to the universal flow that I will call God. The moment before you were even conceived, my mother used to say, a twinkling in your father's eye, that song was already present. So it is for us to open our hearts and tap into our own song. And I think just like the beautiful song that Terrell and Michelle sang, we do what we want for others to be done unto ourselves. That same golden rule thread follows all major spiritual practices. It may not be said exactly as we say it, but have you seen how many versions of the Bible there are? We know the sentiment is we are responsible for creating the life in which we want to lead. And if we take that responsibility to heart, then we hold that magnificence that other people can join us in that same beautiful, amazing light. Whatever we call it, Allah, God, Spirit, Source, Mother, Father, creation, or no name at all. No name at all, because I know that divine connection that we say is the oneness, we, the human being population, from the days of the caveman, we created the gods in our image. And yet we say in unity, we are made in the image and likeness of God. Therefore, we are already perfect in the mind and divinity of God. How does that feel? Can you resonate with it, or does it make you feel a little sticky? Like maybe the church I grew up in doesn't quite say that, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. And do I present myself in that same likeness and image of my understanding of God? Am I able to weave even my differences in with people who are sharing my sanctuary, sharing my city, sharing my grocery store? Do I really believe that we are all of that same light of God? We just express it differently. We express it differently. We have a beautiful founder in the Unity movement who actually never even met the Fillmores for about 30 years. And her name is Emily Cady. Now, I'm sort of bringing you these teachings just in case anybody says, what does Unity really teach or believe? You get up there and you say these nice, wonderful things, but what are some of the foundations of Unity? And Dee Dee in our bookstore called me and she said, Reverend Tracey, I don't think people know enough about Unity. And we have all these books. So I expect every one of y'all to run out here and buy one of these books today. So I want to introduce you to Emily Cady. You could call her the third Fillmore. She actually came before them. Dr. Harriet Emily Cady was born 1848 on a farm near Dryden, New York. She never married, and she studied homeopathic medicine. Think about this in the 1840s. I mean, this is probably where you still burn witches at the stake. I mean, 1840s. Early in her career, she discovered that her patients' ills were too deep for outer remedies to cure. What do we teach? Thoughts in mind produce after their kind. Have you ever been in a situation when you're not feeling good in the mental realm that it plays out in the physical realm? We know that Louise Hay and all the beautiful teachers she brought about with her showed that to us, expressed that to us, allowed us a demonstration of how to shift our consciousness. Early in her career as a physician, she discovered that her patients' ills were too deep for outer remedies to cure, and she began treating her patients as spiritual beings. She began treating her patients as spiritual beings, one of the foundations in Unity, helping them find within themselves the source of health for mind and body. She became convinced that God was the healer. The Fillmores liked her so much they had her do a lot of the writings and the early publications, and she came up with the principles of divine healing. In 1903, this little book came out in a book format. It's been translated into 11 languages and sold millions of copies all over the world. She never visited Unity Village, and she died at the age of 92 in 1941. This beautiful woman who looked at the world and said, it is not something outside of yourself that is causing that angst that is within you. And that angst within you is creating disharmony in your body and physically showing up as what we might call dis-ease. Now, if you know the story about Myrtle Fillmore, when she had this family trait in history that said you're going to follow the same line as your father and your grandfather, and you're not going to live very long because this is already fated to be, probably in that little book, and 40 people are going to be saved. You know, it's probably that same book. So she said, you know what, but I heard this beautiful teacher who said, you are the divine blueprint of God. Therefore, you cannot inherit dis-ease. That function outside of ourselves that we're relying on to take care of our inner selves is a fallacy. Where does your strength come from? Where is the kingdom of heaven? Within. So when we're looking for our answers, it's not going outside of ourselves. Even to those people that you love and support you, when we're looking for true guidance, we become still and quiet and ask the question from within. For we already have our answers, but sometimes we're too busy chatting and looking outside of ourselves to find out what is really our true and natural divine state. And this is what she's talking about. One of the greatest beauties of the Sermon on the Mount is the childlike simplicity of its language. Not a word in it requires the use of a dictionary. Not a sentence in it tells us any more plainly that no traveler, not even fool, shall go astray. And yet the Nazarene, that might have been Jesus, the Nazarene was the fullest, most complete manifestation of the one mind that has ever lived. That is to say, more of the wisdom that is God came into visibility through him. When we are working with Unity's 12 powers, the faculties of wisdom, life, zeal, these make up what we call the Christ. And that Christ being the more perfect version of who we are, and it's already available to each one of us. And how do we respond and relate to each other in that same beautiful format of recognizing the same light that dwells within me is in Cynthia, in Bob, anyone else who's present here, and everyone that we meet. Just sometimes it's cloudy and there's obstacles in the way. And we don't understand because we vote differently, we eat different foods, we come in different colors, we grew up in different practices, and yet there's a common ground that I will call the divine. And that we have an opportunity to look within inside ourselves, regardless of outer appearances, and find that beautiful tapestry where we're all connected, where we're all part of the same weaving, the different colors, the different ideas, the different things that began and begot us to where we are today. And I love the earth-based religions, spiritual practices, where they are just truly honoring as they walk into something as beautiful of our gardens, they just stop and listen. The trees are talking. The little squirrels are chattering. There is music all around us. Our song is in and through us all the time, even if you can't carry a note like me. We have our musicians that bring it together in such a way that beauty unfolds, in a way that we get to listen and hear the Word of God, the pulse and vibration of the universe. And we do this in our physical world as we walk in silence, maybe, outside. Or I imagine with Terrell and Michelle, there might be a studio, and they crank it up. I know with Rob, if you ever come in here too early, it is jamming in here. It is setting a whole different tone than what maybe I'm ready for. But then think about where you are in the world. When you're really filled with anxiety or anger, how do you let go of that? From your inner body, release it. Honey, I can do some massive AC/DC rocking in my car. Now, there's been some little rule passed in this county that the police can pull you over if it gets too loud. So I try to stay really away from other cars when I need to do that. But there's another beautiful, soul-filled time. We had an incredible, wonderful man from Arkansas come, John Two Hawks. Were some of you here for that? Do you remember? And we stood outside in this great big circle, and when he brought us in here with the Native American flute, he said very little. And it was such a place of harmony. There was such a resonance in this sanctuary and outside coming in that I think we all felt that connection before we left 45 minutes to an hour later. What is your part in this beautiful, magnificent tapestry, this woven fabric that we call life, in our spiritual practices, in the way that we treat one another, in the way that we honor one another, in the way that words come to and through these beautiful teachers in early years? And this stuff is ancient. We're just bringing it forward in the 1800s, but this stuff goes way back before then. You can almost hear the whispers of the Greeks and the Romans when they were trying to figure out what is man's purpose and who is that higher elevation that we are aspiring to, because it already exists inside each and every one of us. Inside each and every one of us. And if you're ever in a quandary, go to your dream state and keep a journal. For at the end of that journal, when you look for common ground, listen to the messages that play out in your subconscious form, because then we're at rest. Maybe that laundry list is not so active when we allow ourselves that peace and tranquility. And if you're like me, ideas wake me right up. So write them down in that journal so you can go back to sleep. There was a story in the Bible where there's a Jewish man walking alongside the road, and this Roman centurion says to him, "Carry my bag 2 miles." And the Jewish man looked at him, and he couldn't say no. They were treated as if they were servants, and if he'd said no, it likely could have been his death. So he picked up the bag with the Roman soldier, and he carried it 1 mile. The soldier wanted him to carry it 1 mile. And in that, he felt that he had given away his power, but then he stands straight and tall, and he carried it a 2nd mile. For that is when the empowerment comes through, When you feel that you feel oppressed by someone else, you feel downtrodden, it could be the own voice in your own head. But when you are feeling less than, stand up and go that second mile. So when the Roman soldier comes to you and says, "Walk with me 1 mile," what do you say? "I will go 2. I will go 2. I will stand in my own power." We tell our stories. We sing our songs. We listen and experience that God that is within. That is wisdom, intelligence, love, and very empowering. So we recognize, as we are beginning this season next weekend of the Advent, the preparing for the Christ, the light, we recognize that we are no longer simply preparing the way for the Christ child to be born, for we are that Christ child. We are that way. And so we let that be as we begin this beautiful season of Advent. Amen.
Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we are deeply grateful for the offerings that come in through our online listeners and through all manner of giving from wherever the source. Thank you, God.
Some of you have heard this song before. I'm not sure, but I think it was, I composed it in like 2003 or something. But it's called the Thanksgiving Day Song. The turkey's in the oven and the relatives are on their way. Looks like it's gonna be another perfect Thanksgiving Day. With an eye on the pie, oh, it's gonna be a fun day. Leftovers from now until Sunday. Watch a little football, fall asleep on the floor, and loosen my belt a little more. The phone keeps ringing, it's relatives from far away. They get just a little sentimental round the holidays. Oh, it's a happy time, people smiling everywhere. A time to be grateful and show we care. Count our blessings and be thankful for this life that we're given. And so I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Shoes off, coffee's on, kids are all staring at their cell phone. Adults looking like we're lost in space, staring off in that holidays. Seems like my house has finally gone vegan now. Vegan. Or maybe it's pagan, but there ain't no holy cow. Eating more healthy has reduced my size. I don't mind not eating things without eyes. Vegetables are fine if you use a little creativity. But I'm just speaking for me. There's a reason why we hold this season so near and dear. It makes you want to do the kind of things that we're doing here. Shake a hand, say a prayer, sing a few songs. Hope that the preacher doesn't talk too long. There's something sweet waiting for us just as soon as she's through. I wish a happy Thanksgiving to you. I wish a happy Thanksgiving to you. Yeah, she didn't speak too long. Right on time.
The children are coming forward. I don't know. They have something in their hands.
Oh, that's great.
Well, now we're going to join together in speaking the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Amen. And now please join together for the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you all.